British rock star, human rights activist, and famously mellow romantic. Now approaching 60, he's got a new album. David Muir goes on the town with Sting. Sounds like David Muir has a new album. I read that right.
The cameras are waiting for that Englishman in New York, Sting, arriving at a charity event. He asked us backstage a rare invite to spend time with his wife.
Pleasure to meet you. Even lovelier in person. I met your husband a couple days ago. Sting? I tried to flatter your wife there.
It was just fine with Sting, who has been smitten with Trudy Styler for decades now.
Yeah, I love Trudy, but that's given, okay? I really like this woman. When she walks into a room, my world lights up. I like being with her. It's more than love. It's like to like someone. It's like she's my best mate. She's my best friend.
They met back when the singer Gordon Sumner was just starting to call himself Sting. It's topping the charts with The Police. His early days recorded by the drummer Stuart Copeland in the documentary Everyone Stares.
Hottest band in the world.
The Police. The Police. The Police.
Police.
Millions were staring and buying albums. 40 million albums sold.
Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light.
But the group had a short run. Their short fuses were legendary, especially Sting's.
Sting actually said at one point that when you found him, he was a pretty difficult customer.
Be honest, darling. You can tell the truth.
He was slightly impossible, actually.
But 30 years later, with 4 children of their own, they are still together. Trudy isn't in the business. She's a formidable human rights activist, helping to start the Rainforest Foundation with her husband. In 1998, their passion for one another made headlines when they first spoke of hours of tantric sex.
And do you still get asked all these years later about the tantric sex?
Absolutely. In fact, we better get going, darling. We've got 7 hours to put in before breakfast.
Only 7.
They joke, but it is something Sting still takes seriously to this day.
People are fascinated by sex, of course they are, but the idea of Tantra is slightly more complex in that it's really about consciousness and being, or using every aspect of life as an opportunity to give thanks, to show gratitude. And that can be the way we walk, the way we breathe, the way we eat, the way we relate to each other, and certainly the way we make love. There is no rose of such virtue.
Sting is in town to promote his latest project, one that seems most un-Sting-like.
A lot of folks are going to think, Sting, a holiday CD. What made you do it?
You know, it's a winter record as opposed to a Christmas record, and I have very ambivalent feelings towards the season. It's cold, it's uncomfortable. For a lot of people, it's a tough time. It's also the season of Christmas, you know, and the joy of Christmas and the family coming together again. So on this record, I tried to strike a balance between the dark and the light.
Don't expect to hear chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
No, I don't like chestnuts roasting by an open fire.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
During the week we followed him, Sting invited us to his rehearsal here in New York. The band, the orchestra he's playing with now, dwarfs The Police. This new music is drawn from his roots, a rumination on all the winters of his life. Before he recorded the album, he traveled back to the place he grew up, Wall's End, in northern England.
So this is Station Road, where my dad's dairy was. It's now a Chinese takeaway.
His father was a milkman with the tenor voice. His mother, a one-time hairdresser who played the piano. Both have now passed away.
There are so many ghosts for me.
Imagine.
People I've lost, and girlfriends, friends, musicians, parents.
Right.
And it turns out the story of this English boy who would become Sting
Your dad used to be a milkman.
is famous here, too.
How much is this going for?
A biography of Sting's life and the music that hasn't always come easy.
Always got writer's block. No, it's always an anxiety. You write a song, so, well, that's good. Now, where does the next one come from? You know.
This time, it came from home. And now the milkman's son from Wall's End stands on a stage here in New York for his premiere concert here at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine.
For Lord, a blessed mother thou shalt be, all generations, Lord, and honor thee. Thy son shall be Emmanuel by sea.
With that 35-member orchestra telling the stories of those winters from long ago, with some help, too, from Sebastian Bach. He's written lyrics to some of Bach's music, his own idol.
Did you think you'd be collaborating with Bach?
I never thought I'd collaborate with him, and I hope he's not spinning in his grave as we speak.
He wonders where today's young artists get their inspiration. In England, he's taken on Simon Cowell and the British version of American Idol.
The X Factor.
I worry about the X Factor.
You've described it as soulless.
I do. I think it's impersonation. You know, it's clever to impersonate someone else, but it's more important to just be yourself. I think the real X Factor is to sound completely unique. You know, each of us has a unique voice, like a fingerprint, like a signature.
Simon Cowell has now said he would like Sting to go on the show, to mentor. Sting told us he'll do it if time allows.
Ah, hail, said he, thou lowly man, most highly favored lady.
But for now, he's got plenty to do, and he says plenty to contemplate. Another winter, but this one different.
You said at 58 you're preparing for the winter of your life.
Well, I know this is the country of eternal youth, you know, so to say something like that is kind of controversial. How could you say you're facing the winter of your life? I'm 58. I've been a young man, I've been in middle life, and now I'm not in the winter of my life, but I'm certainly looking at it. I'm preparing for it and saying, well, what kind of old man do I want to be?
He said he's entering the winter of his life when he talks about this album, the winter of his life. I thought that was sort of profound.
Well, that's a sort of like, it's a catch-all for go by this.
There you go.
Well, I am not. In the meantime, I'm firmly in the sun.
For Nightline, I'm David Muir in New York.
Sting, a musical icon. Thanks to David Muir for that. We'll be right back with the Nightline Plate List.